implementing some of these big projects that have been identified in these infrastructure areas.
They relaxed over an official banquet, hinting everything had been successful or stable at the very least. This was also a meeting point for Japanese and African cultures, both in texture and bit. The combinations were considerable feats of diplomacy, as this one earlier on between Presidents Jammeh and Ernest Bai Koroma. The Sierra Leonean president had called on the Gambian leader on the sidelines of the summit shortly after his arrival. Abdunjai, GRTS.
Well, delegates from the ECOWAS sub-region are in Banjul for the 26th ordinary meeting of the West African Economic Monetary Agency's Technical Committee and the end-of-year statutory meeting. The two-day joint convergence, as Buba Sise tells us, is looking at the gamut of issues ranging from a single currency to unemployment.
The 26th ordinary joint meeting of the West African Monetary Agency, WAMA, comprises two of its organs, namely the Economic and Monetary Affairs Committee and the Operations and Administration Committee. WAMA was created by the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government in Cotonou in July 1993 as an autonomous specialized agency of ECOWAS concerned with monetary cooperation and payment issues within the context of the economic and monetary integration process of the region. The agency and other community institutions involved in monetary cooperation have been collaborating with ECOWAS Commission to ensure the creation of a credible and viable monetary union in the region.
Although the zone is saddled with a number of problems and challenges in pursuit of a common economic space, it is gratifying to note that the zeal manifested and the efforts geared towards a strong and sustainable macroeconomic performance by the respective member states is a clear indication of our commitment to the realization of a credible monetary union. I would therefore like to thank the Director General of WAMA and his staff, whose continued hard work remains pivotal for the achievement of a common economic union.
Professor Mohamed Ben Omar Njai is the Director General of WAMA.
However, there are a lot of challenges still to overcome in order to set ECOWAS member states in the path of sustainable and inclusive growth, in line with the objective of significantly mitigating poverty and unemployment. These challenges emphasize indeed the increasing need to strengthen fiscal discipline and enhance fiscal and monetary policy coordination, as well as political good governance.
Among the challenges faced by the member states in the collective journey of regional integration is insufficient attention to the resolution of the establishment of a credible and sustainable single monetary zone in West Africa. The question is why the need for a single currency? Well, the acting director of multilateral surveillance at ECOWAS Commission explains.
It is therefore important that all stakeholders, especially the Ministry of Finance, Trade and Regional Integration, as well as regional business associations, ensure that regional trade promotion is enhanced and sustained. ECOWAS Commission has been making concerted efforts to minimize the non-tariff barriers, militating against free movement of persons and goods along the regional transit corridors.
Forecast shows that the region will post the highest growth rate among the African regional economic communities, with a real growth rate of 6.3% in 2013 compared to 6.6% in 2012. In 2014, the region is predicted to post a growth rate of 7.1%. ECOWAS Commission is committed to encouraging all member states to enhance domestic resources mobilization, improve efficiency of the tax system to ensure that the tax yield is above the ECOWAS threshold of 20%, as well as rationalize expenditure towards poverty reduction and development programs. However, the road to microeconomic convergence has been characterized with a lot of hurdles. Buba SMCC, GRTS.
Staff of the various UN agencies in the Gambia and their families have taken part in a seminar organized to enhance their understanding of HIV/AIDS. The conclave, which reinforced the stance of the United Nations on the health of its personnel, accorded the participating kids a platform to come up with illustrations conveying messages on the HIV/AIDS pandemic. Modu Bajan reports.
HIV and AIDS sensitization program organized by the United Nations in the Gambia, targeting staff of the various UN agencies and their families. Speakers at the occasion include Alaji Koli, who elaborated on the United Nations stance on the health and safety of its staff.
The UN system is committing to ensuring that all personnel are fully informed about issues that can affect the workplace, including HIV/AIDS. We know that yes, the Gambia, comparatively, the prevalence is relatively low. So that's why we feel it is incumbent on us to make sure our colleagues, our spouses, our dependents, our family members are informed about HIV/AIDS.
While having an interactive session with the kids on HIV issues, Lamin Kamara also gave some details of the event.
The UN is all about development, caring for people outside. So it is also important for us to also look inside and take care of ourselves, our staff members and our family members. That is why we have this HIV in the workplace. And it's mandatory. We have a UN personnel policy on HIV that gives staff the right to have the right information, the services that they require, and where to get those services.
In his solidarity statement, the Director of National AIDS Secretariat, Usman Baji, further delved into the pandemic.
HIV is a disease without boundary. It is a disease that knows no age, it knows no social class. So that means it is a problem that each and every one of us should be concerned, irrespective of whether you are literate or illiterate.
The program's prime targets include the agency's dependents, which also consist of children who used drawings and other illustrations to depict HIV/AIDS messages. A handful of these UN staff's dependents also talked to GRTS.
HIV is very dangerous and it can kill people.
I like this program to be continued like every year, like how they do it every year. Because, like I said before, it's very nice because people come together and they sensitize people.
It shouldn't be only the UN doing this thing. It should be a broad thing that is being done by because we have lots of different organizations in the Gambia. So I believe even if it's going to be a yearly thing, them bringing together their staffs and dependents, at least we need to sensitize people about the disease.
Global statistics indicate an increase in the number of HIV-infected persons among UN staff, a situation that requires urgent action. As a crucial stakeholder in several things, including global health and, of course, HIV/AIDS, the UNICEF country representative, Josefa Morato, spoke of the United Nations resolve in addressing HIV-related cases at the workplace through engagements like this one.
HIV and AIDS affects everyone, and the UN is no exception. Conservative estimates by UNAIDS show that 1.5% of all UN personnel worldwide may be living with HIV, meaning that they are HIV positive. 1% or more is considered an epidemic at national level. As UN employees and families of UN employees, we all have a right to accurate information about HIV and AIDS, including information on how to avoid HIV infection and information on testing for HIV.
HIV/AIDS is a deadly disease which is claiming millions of lives. This has particularly affected sub-Saharan Africa, where the disease and its consequences are well documented. By and large, platforms like this one could be very pivotal in the global war against HIV/AIDS. Modu Bajan, reporting for GRTS News.
Well, time now to take our first break. The news continues momentarily.
Chromium Super Savers. It's official. 99 buttons to call any telephone in the Gambia. Yes, yes, yes! It's now cheaper to call any network from your Chromium phone.
99 buttons to call any network. Truly the lowest in the Gambia.
Chromium, making communication cheaper.
99.
99? Yes! Yes!
Chromium Super Savers.
99 buttons a minute. No need to look at the number you're calling. Just make sure it's your Chromium phone you're calling with. Unbelievably cheaper to call with your Chromium number.
Terms and conditions apply. First minute is regular rate. Any minute added enjoys this offer. One of the many reasons we say